Have you ever met someone who appeared cold and distant, but in truth they were the only one who saw you breaking inside? If you believe kindness can hide behind silence and miracles can wear a suit, then stay till the end of this story. It might just change the way you see people forever. And if it touches your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that remind us good hearts still exist. It was close to midnight when Lena, a 26-year-old waitress, walked out of the diner after her last shift. The rain had turned the streets into rivers of reflection, neon lights rippling over puddles. Her jacket was too thin, her shoes soaked through, and her eyes were red from crying. She had just received a message from her landlord: "You have 3 days to pay or you're out." She stood under the flickering diner sign, clutching her worn-out purse, trying to convince herself she could walk home. But the city felt different that night, heavier, colder. The last bus had gone, and all she had left was $3. From across the street, a sleek black car sat idling, quiet, almost watching her. Inside it sat Ethan Ward, a man known for being one of the youngest self-made CEOs in the country. He was tall, impeccably dressed, and often described as emotionless. People called him ruthless, a man who smiled only in business meetings and rarely spoke unless it mattered. But tonight his usual calm eyes looked worried. He had been sitting there for 10 minutes, ever since he saw Lena leave the diner. It wasn't by coincidence. Earlier that evening, Ethan had been at the same diner, sitting in the corner unnoticed behind tinted glasses. He had watched her serve tables with kindness, smiling at a homeless man, helping an old woman pack her leftovers, and slipping her own tip into the donation jar for a sick child. He didn't know why it hit him so deeply, but something about her quiet goodness lingered. Then, as she walked away from the diner into the rain, he saw 2 men begin to follow her. At first, he thought he might be imagining things, but their shadows mirrored her every turn. His instincts, the same that made him a billionaire, kicked in. He started his car, slowly rolling forward, eyes locked on her. When Lena realized she was being followed, panic clawed at her chest. She sped up, clutching her bag tighter, pretending not to notice, but she could hear the footsteps getting closer. That's when she saw the car pull up beside her. The window rolled down just enough for her to see a man in a dark suit. His voice was calm, low, but carried something that made her freeze. "Get in the car," he said. "What?" she stammered, backing away. "Now." She didn't know him. She didn't know he was Ethan Ward, the CEO of Ward Tech, a man whose face was on business magazines. All she saw was a stranger in a luxury car ordering her inside. "No, I can't. Please leave me alone," she said, her voice shaking. Behind her, the footsteps quickened. One of the men laughed under his breath. "Hey, sweetheart, were you heading in such a hurry?" "Lena, get in," Ethan said again, sharper this time, and the use of her name made her freeze. "How do you know my?" But before she could finish, one of the men grabbed her arm. She screamed. The door to the black car swung open, and in a flash Ethan was out, moving faster than she could process. He shoved the man off her, his voice cold and commanding. "Walk away," he said, "now." The 2 men hesitated, saw the look in his eyes, and ran. Lena stood trembling, half from fear, half from shock. Ethan turned back to her, his wet hair falling slightly over his forehead, his jaw clenched. "You're safe now," he said quietly. "Please get in the car." This time she didn't argue. She climbed in, her hands shaking. As the car pulled away, silence filled the space, the kind that feels heavier than words. She kept staring at him. The man beside her didn't look like a criminal or a hero. He looked haunted. How did you know my name?" she finally asked. He exhaled slowly. "Your name tag, you work at the diner." "Oh," she blushed, feeling foolish. I don't know what I thought, thank you, really." He nodded, eyes fixed on the road. "You shouldn't walk home alone at this hour." "I didn't have a choice," she whispered. "Bus stopped running." A pause. "Where do you live?" When she told him, he frowned. That part of town was known for being unsafe. "You can't stay there," he said simply. She let out a humorless laugh. "Unless you're offering free rent, I kind of have to." He didn't laugh. Instead, he drove in silence for a moment, then said something that would change her life forever. "Tomorrow, come to Ward Tech headquarters. Tell the front desk you're meeting Mr. Ward." Her heart skipped. "Wait, Mr. Ward, as in the CEO?" He gave a small nod. "Yes." She blinked at him, speechless. You're him." He didn't respond, just looked straight ahead as the car stopped in front of her building. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why help me?" For the first time his eyes met hers. There was something raw in them. "Because once, someone helped me when I didn't deserve it, and I've been trying to pay that debt ever since." He handed her his business card and drove off before she could even say thank you. That night, Lena barely slept. Part of her thought she'd imagined the whole thing. But the next morning, she stood outside Ward Tech, nervous, drenched in self-doubt. When the receptionist called upstairs, a voice on the intercom said, "Send her in." Ethan was standing by the window when she entered, the skyline glowing behind him. He turned, offering a faint smile. "I've been looking for someone to manage our employee cafe. It's honest work, good pay, and benefits. You interested?" Tears filled her eyes. "But why me? You don't even know me." "I know enough," he said. "You served kindness when no one was watching. That's rare." She accepted, and from that day on, her life changed in quiet, beautiful ways. She worked hard, brought laughter back to the office, and slowly broke through the walls Ethan had built around himself.